Hello, everybody. I'm here to say a couple words about my mom and Pete, and I'm pretty nervous right now. I've been working on this thing actually for a couple. I've been working on this thing for a couple weeks, and it's actually been pretty difficult to try to find the right words to say. And it was last night I finally came together, and it took me still about 3 hours to actually try to find the right words to say. Anyway, so here goes. As I don't know everybody, if I've met everybody yet, but my name is Scott. I'm the middle child of this young lady.
Good job, brownie points.
And if I haven't actually had the opportunity to meet you yet, I'm sorry. It's because these two have been keeping me pretty busy. They run a pretty good incident. And,
Excellent.
So, anyways, here goes. And I'm sure all of you are aware, but I'm going to say it anyways. My mom is a pretty amazing woman. She's been through some tough times, a lot in just the past few years alone, and her ability to keep her head above water is pretty inspiring. She's been through so much, yet she still has the time and innate sense to take care of the people around her and put others before herself. That was one of the greatest lessons she taught me as I was growing up, and I do the best I can to try to exemplify that now. Her favorite saying, actually, as we were growing up, was always, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." And as a young kid, that saying would always usually go in one ear and out the other. And I was, whatever, Mom, you're crazy. And it took me a long time to realize what she actually meant and how to go about practicing, but she's always done a great job being that leader, being that example. And she and I didn't always have the greatest relationship, but and there for a while actually we didn't talk for a few years, and it was pretty rough, more rough on her than it was on me, because I was that stubborn child that was still growing up, and I don't need you. Anyways, we just began healing our relationship, and that's when I needed her most. Actually, I had a little bit of difficulties with my dad, and he actually kicked my brother and I out of the house. Well, he said it was time for us to move on, really. And, right when I needed her most, I needed her help a lot going through school and needing a down payment, a deposit on a place to rent. And she came up big. She didn't care, pretty much. It was pretty amazing. I didn't expect it, and she just was like, whatever, here you go, do it, take care of yourself. And anyways, altogether, what I learned from her that day was pretty amazing. It was something I could never put a numeric value on. And her selflessness through her actions showed me the kind of person she's always tried to teach me to be, and now the person I always try to aspire to be. And now this brings me to Pete. The smile he puts on my mom's face and the way he takes care of her is impressive. I've had multiple conversations with my mom, and she always tries to add in her few cents here and there to say, "Oh my God, Pete's doing this, Pete's doing that, he's taking care of me multiple times. He's made me breakfast in bed. I had a long work today, and I came home, all the chores were done, and all he said was, take it easy, take it easy." And it's basically always been pretty much Pete this, Pete that. He takes care of me, he puts a smile on my face. And Pete, I'm going to actually have to ask you to tone it down a little bit. Next year, if you could do me a favor, just gotta forget your guys' anniversary. And anyway, so I'm happy my mom found someone who can take care of her as well as she always does, as well as she's always taking care of everybody else. Her ability to appreciate the small things that he does for her and the simple joy that he puts on her face, with his random humor and his quirky habits, is pretty endearing.
Perfect.
Witnessing the kind of love that these two share is encouraging, and one day I hope I get to experience it myself. And I'd like to say that to my mom and Pete, thank you guys. I love you guys.
Thank you. That was good. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Hey, bro, hand.
Thank you.
Is somebody else coming up? Scott?
Kevin got a chance.
Kevin.
Yeah. This is the funny one. You want to keep it on, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Congratulations. All right, we're good. Well, first of all, before I even begin this, I just like to thank everyone for coming out here this beautiful day to celebrate this beautiful marriage. It's practically perfect. So I guess we'll get started. So Pete and Susan, you have been together for about 7 or 8 years now, huh? Pretty good time you got going on. I figured we could take a little journey through their relationship through my eyes, through my perspective, so I could throw in my input with all this. Pete, you know, I'm trying to remember the first time that we met, and you know, I'm sorry, I honestly, I can't remember the first time shaking your hand and saying, "Hi, I'm Kevin. What's your name?" Oh, Pete. Okay. So, the best thing I could think of was when we did the MCI bomb squad training, and I volunteered to be, well, a victim. My role was to play an injured doctor, scientist that I think got stabbed and was really just oblivious to everything. So that was my role. So when the SWAT team came in to rescue me, my role was to play just play really dumb. Like, if they would ask me a bunch of questions, you know, like, have you seen the terrorist or the bad guys? Can you describe them? And I'm just supposed to, you know, mumble and say, I don't know. To every single question, I'm supposed to say, I don't know. So they would be like, well, what's your name? And I don't know. So, I mean, I'm like a guy that's just unstable and in shock about the whole situation. So that was my role. Okay. So they rescued me, they brought me outside, asked me a bunch of questions, and they brought me to Pete. And it was just awkward because then Pete was like, "Hey, how you doing? You're okay? You're good?" And I just kind of stared at him and I was like, answer? Do I keep the character? So I just kind of stared at him and I was like, yeah, good. So that's kind of the first memorization of Pete and Kevin. Pete, I gotta say, you are a handsome fellow. You got a lot going. You're a firefighter, chief, captain, president, battalion, chief battalion, I think is the word. Okay, we'll go with that. So he's got that going. He is an airplane pilot. You have your own airplane. Fly around. It's awesome. And he's also a carpenter. You know, you build stuff. He's built me a bed frame. That was awesome. So, you know, and he drives a SWAT van. Like, how awesome is that? Top it off. He's got that SWAT van out there. That thing is awesome. So, you know what, Pete? You are just the total package. My mother, she hit the jackpot with Pete. You know what I mean? Yeah, Pete's up there. He's A+. So, but in all seriousness, Pete is a great guy. He treats my mother like a queen. It makes me smile to know that my mom is so happy and she met a guy that treats her so well. And like my brother said earlier, my mom always talks about, like, oh, well, Pete's making me breakfast today, and you know, Pete's taking care of the chores today. Just all that stuff that
you know, Mom just shares so much
Not
information.
anymore.
Aw.
I want to say, you know, seeing them together, it's like they're just like the perfect for each other. They're a perfect couple. Got to give them that.
Peter's word.
So, not only with my mother, but with our family, Pete has been a very positive impact on our life. He has helped us in just so many ways. I don't even know where to begin. So, you know, Pete, thank you for all the help that you've given us. I really appreciate it. I'm grateful for it. Let's see. Okay. Pete, you officially have my blessing to marry my mother. And I'm glad I get to finally awkwardly call you Dad. He hates what I call him, right?
Just don't.
So, it's a good time. Alright, so that's Pete in a nutshell. Now we will move on to Susan, my mother. I know, so Susan, who is this woman? Who does she think she is? Marrying this top shot guy, you know? Well, Susan is my mother. So she's been dating Pete for a while, and I mean, I've already met Pete. I'm just kind of fast forwarding a bit. Sorry. Knew him. I met him a few times. We spent holidays together at the house that they had, and you know, it's all been great. Everything's been great, fantastic. So I want to say, like 3 or 4 years ago, when you came to visit us in Modesto at the Bodum house, you asked me a question, and you said, Kevin, do you think it's weird that Pete and I live together, but we are not married? So, you know, I told her, I said, you know what, the idea of marriage, I feel like it's kind of lost its value because people just do it so fast, you know. They rush things and they just do it for the wrong reasons. So I was just telling her that, and let's see. You know, you don't need to rush things. And then I asked her, I said, well, are you happy? Are you guys happy? And she said, yeah, of course. And I was like, well, that's all that matters. Marriage isn't a thing that should be, you know, it doesn't have to be rushed. It's just a nice fancy title to add to your relationship. So, I mean, I feel like as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. And, you know, eventually things will just fall into place. And, well, it did. So, I mean, I'd say that's a pretty good lecture I gave you, you know? Yeah, so, I gotta say, I'm glad things happened the way they did. Pete did his proposal on Valentine's Day. Very special. Very, I gotta say, probably the only person that was shocked is Mom. All of us kind of, you know, it's not a surprise. We feel like you should have been married for a while, right? They just, you know, they click. So, you know, it wasn't a surprise except just for Mom. She was the only one surprised by it. The funny thing is, afterwards, after that happened, when my mom made the phone call to me to tell me about Pete proposed, and I was like, I had to pretend like I didn't know because I overheard my brother telling his friends about it, and I was like, no way, really? Okay, cool. So, and then I get the phone call from Mom, the official announcement, and I had to pretend like huh? What? I don't know anything about that. So she's like, Pete proposed. And I was like, oh, congratulations, that's awesome. And funny thing is, like, immediately after that, my mom tells me, I can't wait for insurance to be cheaper. This is gonna be awesome. Insurance gonna be cheaper and all that. And I was like, Mom, hold on. You got proposed to. This is marriage. Be happy, you know, there's love, there's all the good things. You don't just go straight for, oh, life's cheaper now. So, I mean, we went back and forth about that, and we laughed it off, and it was fun. So, yeah. Oh, I left my drink.
There's one right here.
We'll go with this.
You got it? You get it? We'll go with this.
All right. So if you guys could raise your glasses. Here's to you, Susan and Pete. Congratulations. And I hope you guys enjoy the new cheaper cost of living. I love you both. Cheers.
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 Awesome job.
Thank you, son.
Awkwardly called.